Now, Teen Suicide Prevention Week is being observed from the 9th to the 16th of February this year. The period aims to raise awareness about measures that can assist in preventing suicide amongst teenagers in South Africa. The National Department of Health reported data indicating that over 7,000 children under the age of 18 were treated for suicide attempts between April and December of 2024. South African Depression and Anxiety Group Development Manager Fatima Seedat joins us for more. Fatima, very good evening to you. Welcome to the late edition. I mean, teen suicide is becoming more and more common every year in South Africa. What are the contributing factors?
Good evening, Mvo, and thank you for having us on air today. I think there's so much going on with our teenagers and the different dynamics that they have to go through. So, for instance, some of them have to deal with bullying at school, on social media, whereas others, you know, they see the repercussions of being in a poor family or a family that's going through some sort of financial issues. Then we look at some of them that have experienced some sort of trauma. Last year, we also seen a lot of learners, not a lot, but learners that experienced pregnancy issues. So there's a lot of different issues that our learners are going through. But I think the most underlying thing that we've picked up in all the school talks we've done is that they feel like they're not being heard. That's why this year our theme is your feelings matter, let's talk, because we want to encourage that open conversations, making sure that learners and young teens are able to open up to their family and to their parents.
What do you think may be prohibiting these open conversations if you look at the family dynamics or, you know, whether it's a school environment that children, well, teenagers are unable to express themselves?
There's a lot that's going on at home. So you have the breakdown of family togetherness. So a lot of times we see that parents are not available at schools, at home, or available after school when a learner comes home because they have to work. There's also that mindset that you're so young, why do you have to go through all of this? When I was your age, we didn't go through it. But I think with times that change, people experience different things, so do the teens and the children of our world right now.
With us unpacking the contributing factors, would you say there's a link between depression and suicide, and perhaps how to differentiate the two?
There's always been a link. So depression is like feelings of extreme sadness, loneliness, not feeling very hopeless and helpless. And when depression is left untreated, that's when suicidal ideation kicks in. So when a child or a teenager is going through all of these different overwhelming feelings, feeling sad, feeling lonely, feeling helpless and hopeless, by not getting treatment in time and not getting the help that they need on time, suicidal ideation starts. And when suicidal ideation starts, that's when all these suicidal thoughts come up, and at times it does lead to an attempted suicide. And unfortunately, other times it's a completed suicide.
As you talk about an attempt, research indicates that although more females attempt suicide, more males are likely to succeed. Why is that? So
we look at it through stats again, and we see that females use less abrasive ways of attempting suicide. So for instance, males would use hanging, shooting, that type of violent types of attempts, whereas females would use overdosing, cutting, just so that, it's less abrasive, but also it does, sort of create that impact that they need. However, we've noticed again through our work in communities that a lot of our learners in township areas have easy access to rat poison. And a lot of the learners are taking rat poison at the moment, which is of great concern to us.
And with all those concerns, how can families and communities create a safe space for these young people to be able to open up and hopefully, you know, one is able to save a life?
I think it starts with education. So educating yourself on the signs, the symptoms, about what exactly is depression, what is anxiety, what is trauma. And knowing these signs and symptoms will allow you to pick up what may be an issue for your teen or your child. And from there, you can then seek treatment, also by creating safe spaces where teens are able to speak to their parents or caregivers or educators or loved ones. It becomes easier for them to explain and express themselves. So we always advise, start communicating with your children on a young age, because that will create that safe space so they know when to open up and speak to someone. When you are able to do that and you open that safe space, the likelihood of help-seeking behavior is higher, because in that way, you sort of are aware of what your child is going through. They are expressing how they're feeling, so you know there's a cause to concern, and you can then take them for treatment going forward.
And I mean, you made an example which was really quite important as you, you know, talk to how parents may approach or see their teenagers' concerns to say, ah, when I was your age, you know, we were able to deal with such issues. How do guardians, parents bridge that and, you know, learn to listen and take some form of action? Because in some instances, some of these young people do speak up, but their cries may fall on deaf ears.
In most cases, they do speak up or they do show signs. So we have to be very vigilant on what our teens are showing and displaying. However, I think as parents, as caregivers, and people that take care of young learners, we need to make sure that every call for help is being seen to, because you rather give attention to a child seeking help when they are seeking for it than regretting it later when something may have happened to them. So we always advise, take each concern seriously and take it from there. Showing that you care for your child and you sort of show concern, it makes them feel safe. And in most cases, they will then, you know, try and unwind, find ways of coping, and you can work together with them again. So you can teach them different coping strategies with different stresses, so they feel secure, they feel safe, but again, you're empowering them to handle different situations differently.
Yeah. Some sound advice there. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. South African Depression and Anxiety Group Development Manager Fatima Seedat speaking to us about Teen Suicide Prevention Week.